I just made this extension tube, which allows me to take a plain old non-macro lens that would normally take a picture like this, and turn it into a macro lens that takes pictures like this. It was cheap and pretty easy to make, and I'm going to show you how I did it. I used black ABS pipe. You can use plain white PVC, which is thicker walled and heavier, which may or may not be a good thing. If you use white PVC, you need to paint the inside flat black. I use micro 4/3 cameras, and 1.5 inch pipe works well for that format. If you use a different format camera, you might need a different size pipe. I also needed a camera body cap and a rear lens cap. You can usually find these online for pretty cheap. I cut my pipe to 100 millimeters, that's just under 4 inches. I calculated that that would give me 2x magnification with 3 stops of light loss for my camera and lens combination. That's low mag microscope territory, and you may not want that much magnification. I've put a link down in the description to an online calculator that can help you figure out how long to make your extension tube. This black ABS pipe is slightly shiny, so I used some fine sandpaper to dull the outside and inside. It's important to make sure that the inside is a dull, flat black so you don't get any light reflecting around in there. Ooh, that's some fine sandpaper. Then I drilled holes in the camera cap and rear lens cap. The largest bit I had was 1 inch, and I needed a hole that was closer to about 1 1/4, maybe 1.5 inches. So I used a Dremel sanding band to make the holes a little bigger. I was careful not to make the holes too big and cut into the threads that hold them in place. I used JB Weld Quick Weld to attach the caps to the pipe. Some sort of quickset epoxy is good for this because it cures in about 5 minutes and is quite strong. I really like JB Quick Weld for this project because it's gray in color and light tight, while most other 2-part epoxies you find in stores are transparent, which would let in light and ruin my photographs. You may notice that I've marked where the top of each cap is when on the camera or lens so that I can line them up on the pipe so that my lens will go on the camera in its proper orientation. You don't have to do this, but it might make it hard to read markings on the lens if it's like upside down. It won't affect your photos though. Once the epoxy is cured, the extension tube is ready to go. I'm using an old manual focus Canon FD 50mm lens with a micro 4/3 adapter so I can adjust the aperture. These lenses are great for this because they're cheap nowadays but high quality. I can use micro 4/3 lenses with this tube, but there's no electrical connection, so I can't control the aperture and I'd have to physically move the lens and camera back and forth to focus. Well, there you go. I think it turned out pretty well. If you make one, I'd love to see some macro photos that you take. If you liked the video or found it helpful, give it a thumbs up. You can also subscribe to keep up to date with my newest videos. Thanks for watching.